Your mower has a plastic carburetor. It was not always plastic. The one it replaced was metal and lasted the life of the engine. The plastic one will not. It is designed to fail within a specific window, and I'm going to show you exactly why, how to check if yours is already cracking, and what to do about it before it leaves you stranded mid-season. Here is what makes this one different from every other mower problem. A dull blade you can see, a dirty air filter you can feel, a dead spark plug you can test, but a failing plastic carburetor gives you almost no warning. It cracks from the inside. It leaks fuel where you cannot see it. And by the time the symptoms show up, hard starting, surging, fuel smell, the body is already compromised. Most people assume it is a tuning problem. It is not. It is a materials problem. And the material was chosen to save the manufacturer a few dollars per unit. Before 2008, the carburetor on your mower was die-cast zinc or aluminum with brass jets. You cleaned it every few years with a $12 rebuild kit. That was the entire maintenance story. What replaced it is injection molded nylon. The manufacturing cost difference is a few dollars per unit, but the production speed difference is massive. Die casting takes minutes per unit. Injection molding takes seconds. Multiply that across millions of mowers per year, and you understand why every manufacturer switched. Add EPA Phase 3 emissions rules that took effect in 2011 and 2012, rules that required tighter fuel metering, and manufacturers found that integrated plastic housings checked both boxes at once: lower cost and regulatory compliance. Metal carburetors did not disappear because they failed. They disappeared because they cost more to build. But here is what the cost accounting did not include: the fuel you are running. Ethanol blended gasoline behaves as a solvent on many plastics and rubbers in your fuel system. It absorbs moisture. That moisture-laden mixture sits inside your carburetor between mowing sessions and overwinter storage. The nylon body absorbs it. Heat cycling from engine warm-up and cool-down accelerates microfractures at the mounting bosses. UV exposure from outdoor storage adds surface degradation on top. Each stressor is manageable alone. Stacked together on a nylon body, they produce a failure timeline of 2 to 5 years. The factory warranty on most of these engines is 2 years. That alignment is not an accident. Now check yours before you go any further. Pull the air filter cover off. The carburetor is bolted directly to the intake, right behind the air filter housing. Take a flashlight and look at the body. You are checking for 3 things. First, fuel staining. Dark wet streaks or dried residue on the exterior that indicate a crack or gasket leak. Second, visible hairline cracks at the mounting bosses. The thick sections where the carburetor bolts to the intake. Third, white powdery deposits inside the fuel bowl if you can access it. That is the ethanol corrosion signature. If you see fuel staining with no obvious gasket leak, assume the body is cracked. If you see the white powder deposits and your mower is hard starting or surging, you are looking at clogged jets. If you see cracks at the mounting bosses, you are past cleaning. You need a replacement. But here is the part that should concern you even if your mower starts fine right now. Because what kills most plastic carburetors is not the hours on the engine. It is what happens during storage. One bad winter with untreated fuel sitting in a plastic carburetor bowl can do more damage than 3 seasons of mowing. The fuel degrades, the varnish coats the passages, the moisture attacks the body, and by spring, a mower that ran perfectly in October will not start at all. There is a specific maintenance protocol that extends plastic carburetor life significantly and a specific rescue procedure when the damage is already done. The protocol covers fuel treatment, storage draining, seasonal inspection, and the exact cleaning method that works on plastic without destroying the body, because the wrong cleaner will swell and distort the nylon and make the problem worse. That is exactly why we built the complete seasonal maintenance guide for a mower that lasts 20 years. Isn't built different, it's maintained different. As someone with over 20 years of experience working with small engines, this changes how I tell people to maintain them. The new Make It Last maintenance protocol shows you an easy-to-follow, step-by-step guide with over 100 pages of information about what actually kills these mowers and how to stop it. What's worth fixing? Which parts to buy? Walk hard or riding? There's one for both. Scan the QR code or tap the link up top. Make it last. Now let me walk you through what to do if your carburetor is already showing symptoms, because this is the decision that determines whether you spend $8 or $90. Start with the quick test before you pull anything apart. Remove the air filter. Spray a 2-second burst of carburetor cleaner directly into the carburetor throat. Have someone pull the cord while you step back. If the engine fires for 1 to 2 seconds and dies, you have confirmed 2 things. The spark works. The compression is adequate. The problem is fuel delivery through the carburetor. That 2-second run tells you a cleaning will almost certainly fix it. If it does not fire at all from the spray, the problem may be deeper, spark, compression, or a completely seized passage, and you need to check those before you commit to a carburetor teardown. If the spray test confirms the carburetor is the issue, here is the full cleaning procedure for a plastic body carburetor. And this is where the material difference matters, because the cleaning process on a plastic carb is not the same as on a metal one. Get it wrong, and you make the problem worse. First, buy the right cleaner. This is the step most people fail on. Standard carburetor cleaner, the aggressive formulations designed for soaking metal carburetors, will swell and distort a nylon carburetor body. The fuel passages warp. The gasket surfaces deform. You end up with a carburetor that is chemically clean but no longer seals. Always check the label before you spray anything on a plastic carburetor. If it does not say safe for plastic or safe for non-metallic components, do not use it. Berryman B12 Chem Tool in the aerosol can is widely used for this. CRC also makes a formulation safe for sensors and plastics. Confirm before you buy. Second, remove the carburetor from the engine. On most walk-behind mowers, this is 2 bolts holding it to the intake manifold, 1 throttle linkage clip, photograph the linkage position before you disconnect it, and 1 fuel line. Pinch or cap the fuel line to prevent dripping. The carburetor comes straight off. Third, flip the carburetor over. The float bowl is on the bottom, a small cup held on by a single center bolt or a bail clip. Remove it. The bowl drops off. Inside you will see the float, a hollow plastic or brass piece on a hinge pin, and directly above where the center bolt was, a small brass or plastic jet. That jet is your primary target. Hold the jet up to a light source. You should see a pinpoint of light through the center hole. If you cannot, the jet is blocked. Spray your plastic safe cleaner directly into the jet. Use a fine wire, guitar string works, or a single strand pulled from a wire brush to clear the passage. Do not use a drill bit. A drill bit will open the jet diameter and change the fuel calibration permanently. The jet is precision sized. Treat it that way. Clear it, spray again, blow it out with compressed air if you have it, and confirm light passes through. Now clean every other passage you can see in the carburetor body. There are typically 2 to 4 small holes visible when the bowl is removed. Each one feeds a different fuel circuit: idle, transition, main. Spray cleaner into each one. Follow with air. The varnish in these passages is what causes the engine to start but surge at idle, or start but die under load. If the main jet is clear but these secondary passages are blocked, the engine will run at one speed and stumble at every other. While the bowl is off, inspect it. Wipe out any sediment, white powder, or brown film. Check the rubber O-ring or gasket that seals the bowl to the carburetor body. On a plastic carburetor, this gasket is doing more work than it did on a metal one because the sealing surfaces are less precise. If the gasket is cracked, compressed flat, hardened, or has any visible tears, replace it. An aftermarket carburetor rebuild kit for most Briggs and Stratton units runs $8 to $15 and includes the bowl gasket, needle valve, seat, and any internal seals. OEM kits from the manufacturer run higher. Buy the kit even if you only need the gasket. You will use the rest eventually. Inspect the needle valve, the small tapered pin that the float pushes up to stop fuel flow when the bowl is full. Look at the tip. It should be smooth rubber or rubber-coated metal with no flat spots, no grooves, and no visible wear ring. A grooved needle valve will not seal the bowl properly. Fuel will overflow past the float and flood the engine. You will smell raw fuel. The engine will start and immediately die, or it will not start at all because the plug is soaked. Replace the needle valve from your rebuild kit if you see any wear on the tip. This is a 5-minute swap that prevents the most frustrating no-start symptom in small engine repair. Reassemble in reverse order. Bowl gasket seated flat. No twists, no pinches. Bowl bolt snug, not cranked down. The threads on a plastic carburetor body are nylon. Over-tighten and you strip them permanently. There is no helicoil fix on a plastic body. Snug means snug. Throttle linkage back in its original position. This is where your photo pays off. Fuel line reconnected and clamped. Carburetor bolted to the intake. Air filter reinstalled. Put fresh fuel in the tank. If the fuel in your can is more than 30 days old, do not use it. Old fuel in a freshly cleaned carburetor will put you right back where you started. Prime the carburetor with 2 to 3 pushes on the primer bulb if your mower has one. Pull the cord. In most cases, it fires within the first 3 pulls. If it fires and immediately dies, the secondary passages are still partially blocked. Remove the carburetor again, spray cleaner into every small hole you can find, let it soak for 10 minutes this time, blow it out, and reinstall. If it runs but surges at idle and smooths out at full throttle, same issue. The idle circuit is partially blocked. One more cleaning cycle usually clears it. If after 2 full cleaning cycles the engine still surges or hunts at idle, the needle valve seat is damaged or the body itself has internal distortion from ethanol exposure. At that point, you are past cleaning. You need a replacement. A direct fit replacement carburetor for most consumer-grade Briggs and Stratton engines runs between $40 and $90 depending on the engine model. Buy an OEM unit from the manufacturer parts store if you want confirmed fitment and compatibility. Off-brand units are widely available online for significantly less, sometimes $8 to $25, but quality varies. Some aftermarket carburetors fit perfectly and run fine. Others have casting inconsistencies in the jet sizing or gasket surface flatness that create new problems. If you are keeping this mower long-term, pay for the OEM part. If you are buying time on a mower you plan to replace within a year, the aftermarket unit will get you through. But here's the question you should be asking before you spend that $90. Is the mower worth putting a new plastic carburetor on, knowing that the replacement is the same nylon material and will follow the same failure timeline? You are resetting the clock. You are not changing the clock. The mowers that avoid this problem entirely are not mysteries. Honda retains metal carburetors on many of their commercial GX series engines. The GXV 160 and GXV 190 use cast aluminum carburetor bodies with brass jets and steel throttle shafts. They are rebuildable at the component level. Parts are available individually, not just as complete assemblies. Certain Kawasaki FS and FR series engines use metal carburetor bodies built to commercial specifications with similar durability. Older Briggs and Stratton commercial variants, Vanguard, IC, Industrial Plus, from before the plastic transition, used metal bodies that are still running in shops and on properties right now. If you are buying new and longevity is the priority, confirm the engine model, then look up the carburetor spec before you put any money down. Do not assume that a higher price means a metal carburetor. Some $2,000 mowers still ship with plastic carburetors on consumer-grade engines. The badge on the deck does not tell you what is inside the engine. The engine model number does. If you are buying used, target mowers built before 2008 when metal carburetors were still standard on most consumer platforms. Inspect the carburetor body before you buy. Look for cracks at the mounting bosses. Look for fuel staining on the exterior. Look for the white powder corrosion signature in the bowl. Walk away from any used mower with a leaking or cracked carburetor because you are looking at the part that determines whether that machine lasts 10 more years or needs a $100 repair in the first season. When you inspect a used mower with a metal carburetor, check the throttle shaft for play. Grab the throttle lever where it enters the carburetor body and wiggle it side to side. A small amount of play is normal. If the shaft moves visibly in the bore and you can see daylight around it, the shaft bore is worn. That creates an air leak that makes the engine run lean at idle. On a metal carburetor, a worn throttle shaft can be rebushed by a small engine shop for $30 to $50. On a plastic carburetor, a worn throttle shaft bore means replacement because you cannot rebush nylon. If you have a mower from the 90s or the mid-2000s with a metal carburetor still on it, maintain that machine. Do not trade it for a new unit with a plastic replacement. The old carburetor, cleaned and rebuilt every few years with an $8 kit, will outlast 3 generations of the injection molded nylon version that replaced it. The repair cost on a metal carburetor is cleaning and gaskets. The repair cost on a cracked plastic body is a new assembly because there is nothing else to do with it. A well-maintained mower with a metal carburetor and a quality engine can run 15 to 20 years on nothing but seasonal oil changes, air filters, spark plugs, and the occasional carburetor rebuild kit. The mower with a plastic carburetor running ethanol blended fuel, stored with fuel in the bowl over winter, starts hitting the failure window in year 2. The gap between those two outcomes is not the mower. It is the carburetor material and the fuel discipline of the owner. We are the people who fix things instead of throwing them away. We understand that a carburetor rebuild kit and 45 minutes of work is not a last resort. It is the correct response to a problem that costs no more than that to solve. Keep your fuel treated, drain your bowl before winter, check the body before symptoms become failures. And if you are buying a new mower, look at the carburetor before the sticker price. The cheapest mower on the floor is not cheap. The cheap part is inside the engine, and you will pay for it later. What engine are you running, and have you had the carburetor replaced yet? Drop it in the comments. The complete maintenance protocol is in the description.